Stugotz here for WordPress. Every day, millions of people go online to search for local businesses. Does your small business show up? When you create a website on WordPress.com, you make it easier for your customers to find you, to connect with you, to hear how you can help them. Your business needs an online home. It needs a WordPress.com website. You don't need experience setting up a website. WordPress guides you through the process from start to finish. They take care of the technical stuff, so it's easy to get your site up and running. Their customer support team is amazing, and it's made up of WordPress experts eager to help you get the most from your site. They're available to help 24 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and weekends. Plans start at just $4 a month. That's an incredible value right there. Just $4 a month. And all WordPress plans include a custom domain name for the life of the plan. Come see why 28% of all websites run on WordPress. Get started today with 15% off any new plan purchase. Go to WordPress.com/Dan to create your website and find the plan that's right for you. That's WordPress.com/Dan for 15% off your brand new website. WordPress.com/Dan.
We will get to Dwyane Wade in a second, but let me first show you what passes for good morning around here. Stugotz waddles in seconds before we're about to start, and he does this as an alpha move and announces it when he opens the door. He just yells alpha move because he knows when he arrives that late, he can't do any of the millions of things that the producers need him to do before the show.
Right.
But the forgiveness comes quick, because the producers love Stugotz. And after Stugotz shouts alpha move, Billy's good morning to Stugotz after the weekend is, Stugotz, are you a naked pooper? That was good morning. Those are the words that
morning
Guillermo greeted Stugotz with.
Yeah.
And so how did this happen before we get to Dwyane Wade? How did you guys start talking about whether or not someone is a naked pooper?
Guillermo asked.
I know. Well, thank you. I know you're part of the equation. I watched that. Guillermo, what led to that question? That's not a good morning question.
Well, because Stugotz did the thing where we realized he's waiting till the last second to get in. So then we started saying, well, what do you think he's doing? And we were talking about how Mike thinks he's pooping, and I think he's just up somewhere staring at a clock, waiting until the absolute last second. Like, he's been staring at a clock for 5 minutes, waiting till the last minute to come down.
He's been staring at the clock all weekend.
Yeah.
Knowing he's got to time it just right to come in here so that he can't do any of the things you guys need him to do.
Well, so then we went down the poop route, and I was wondering, like, I wonder if Stugotz is one of the people that takes off their pants when he poops.
Oh, so I didn't answer what, Stugotz's answer was, which was after Guillermo said, Stugotz, are you a naked pooper? Stugotz's response, of course, without a hiccup of hesitation, it's as quickly as he's ever thought, sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, who hasn't? Have you? Are you a naked pooper?
I have, yes, right. But I think that after the shower, before the shower.
You never poop after the shower.
Yeah.
No.
That's hustling backwards.
Right. Counterproductive, I mean.
All right, well, hold on. Let's analyze this. But Mike is talking about the act of you get there, you have clothes on, and now you take off all of your clothes, and then you put all of your clothes back on. That is not something I have ever done.
I'd like to make a clarification. I've never done that as well. Like,
but that's what I thought the question was.
Like, if I'm transitioning out of what I'm wearing into golf clothes and I got to go, I'll just go naked. Now, I will tell you, it's a different experience, a great experience, a wonderful experience. Everything is more comfortable when you do it naked. I mean, everything. Anything. Don't you think?
No.
What?
No, this show?
Well, we'd be more comfortable. We would.
No.
Dan, if you were naked right now, would you be more comfortable?
No, this chair would not be as comfortable naked. No, this chair would not be as comfortable naked. And it would be unpleasant for whomever came after.
Naked show tomorrow?
Deal.
Very practical things are made worse by being naked.
Yeah.
Say I'd like to eat a nice manicotti. Worse naked.
I mean, men should never be naked.
I'm saying if we didn't care about how disgusting we looked and no one else did, no one was judging you, don't you think it's just you're more comfortable when you're at peak comfort when you're naked? That's fair to say.
I mean, well, depends. In private, perhaps.
Right.
Not publicly. If you're in a sauna, are you at peak comfort naked? Even in a sauna?
Yeah, he is. That's the wrong person to ask.
Yeah. I don't care, man. I'll walk through that entire locker room naked. I don't care.
Think about it. There's tomato sauce and ricotta cheese just falling off the manicotti. It's terrible.
Mike, I want you to imagine Stugotz
Nope.
at the spa. No, just Stugotz is locker room guy. Just sort of waddling through. Like, he runs the locker room, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cracking jokes while he's naked about other people's golf score.
Yes, for sure,
absolutely.
golf jokes.
Yeah.
So many golf jokes.
Tag you with a towel. Do one of those. Yeah. What are those things called again?
I believe nowadays it's called sexual assault.
Oh.
When you naked poop, those two guys, I have this question. Do you take off your socks? Because, like, when I naked poop, I'll go and I'll sit down, and it's not a planned thing, because you were asking, like, do you take off your pants before and hang them up? It's usually, like, you sit down and you realize we're in this for the long haul. So then you just adjust because your ankles are getting hot, and you just finish taking off, your shorts or pants or whatever. And then if it's really long, you just toss off the shirt. But usually the socks will stay on for some reason.
Wait a minute. How all of a sudden, wait a minute. I got up this morning. I'm like, all right, we're going to talk about Wade, right? And now, for some reason, I've just learned disturbingly and with way too many details that Billy treats the pooping experience as sort of his own personal burlesque show.
Well, it's at home.
Yeah. I mean, what are you doing? Like, if it's going really well, I take off my shirt. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, if the mood hits you, you're there and you're like, you know what, this is going to be longer than usual. And I'm at home. I don't do this in public, obviously. But if I'm at home, yeah, take off the shorts, take off the shirt. And then it's not like I have nothing to do. I then have to get dressed after and go on with my day.
What is the poll question here? Are you a naked pooper? Yes or no? Is it as simple as that?
I think so, yeah. I think it's as simple as yes.
Are you a naked pooper, yes or no?
I have another, now that we're on the subject of poop, another quick poop question. Do your legs ever go numb after pooping because you're, like, on your phone? Because that happens to me all the time.
Yep. Happened to me this morning, actually.
What do you mean you're on your phone?
What do you mean?
You're on your phone, so, like, you're in the squatting position, your elbows are down on your knees, and then it's so much pressure that there's even, like, red circles on your knees, and your legs go numb. Like, I've had trouble walking. I have to hold on to, like, the towel rack and, like, shake my legs.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That happens to me regularly.
All right. Hold on.
I'm worried I'm going to get a blood clot.
Okay. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Blood clot.
You have just taken me into the bowels of your life in a way that is deeply uncomfortable. It's not just that you do this naked burlesque to poop, but now I've got naked burlesque you staggering around the bathroom with his legs asleep because you were in the phone doing God knows what, probably watching that show about swords.
Oh, I can't wait for it to come back. What a good show, Dan.
But wait a minute. Is this a byproduct of people this age? Because I don't know what they're talking about. The idea of being on your phone with the intensity at the toilet that you make put that on the poll, Guillermo. Have you ever been on the toilet and using your phone with such intensity that your legs go numb?
The phone has replaced the newspaper as bathroom reading, right?
Yes.
So do you remember reading the newspaper in the bathroom?
Yes.
Right? Like you have your elbows pressed against your legs, you get up like you do, and then you start walking around again. It takes a minute. It does.
Newspaper, though, you hold a little higher, so there's not as much pressure. When it's really dangerous, Dan, obviously, it's when you have to shower after, and your legs are numb, and now you have to step into a wet, slippery shower.
All right. I don't know what to do with your toilet burlesque show, so let me transition.
It's over?
To Dwyane Wade? Yeah, because I don't know what to do with it. I don't understand it. It's very strange. I think we could all agree. Nobody is visualizing what Guillermo was talking about and saying to themselves, that seems appetizing, good, I do that. Nobody.
I think you'd be stunned at how many people's legs fall asleep while on the toilet.
That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the burlesque show.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's not every time. It's sometimes.
To take your pants off just to put them back again.
The whole naked pooping thing seems weird.
But you already pull them down so far. What difference does it make an extra foot?
It's a good point.
The difference is my dignity.
Who cares? No one's around, right?
The difference is your shorts and socks.
No, socks stay on. Socks stay on. Usually socks stay on. Sometimes they come off.
Unless you're right. Unless you're feeling frisky.
If it's summer, socks are off.
Pants really restrict the ankles. You really want to open up when you're pooping.
It's a great point.
Moving on. Dwyane Wade, this was funny, walking into the studio, because that game made me feel some of the stuff that people talk about when they talk about Willie Mays stumbling out of the batter's box. Dwyane Wade, at the height of athleticism as a young person, was Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals. And then to watch that on Friday, and I understand there are mitigating circumstances, emotion of the night, but to see the shot blocked at the rim as often as it was, to see like passes that were just so obviously slow and sloppy and younger people devoured them with turnovers, it was weird to watch.
It was weird to watch.
Because Wade's departure from here, and I've been watching a lot of Bulls and Cavs, but the departure at the very end, he summoned something that was great against Toronto and Charlotte in the playoffs. He summoned something.
He did. He's gone to 2 different teams since then that don't require you to work out and be in shape nearly as much as they do down here. So maybe it's going to take him a month or so to get used to that again, but I'm with you. It was sad. Happy the Heat won that game, but it was kind of sad watching Wade play in that game.
I wouldn't quite go to sad because I wouldn't do that. They won at the end of the game. He had the block. It was an emotional night and it was a nice night. But the place that I did go was like, wow, that's just a totally different basketball player. That is such a different basketball player than the one that we've been watching, even at the end as he was aging here.
This would have been Willie Mays stumbling out of the batter's box if he stumbled out of the batter's box after hitting a game-winning home run, a walk-off, because that's what Dwyane Wade did. He saved that game, blocked Eric Bledsoe at the rim. Well, you want to talk about how he doesn't have it anymore.
Whoa. I didn't say he doesn't have it, whatever it is anymore.
Whatever it was, you stopped short of saying it.
I said that it was an emotional night, and there are all sorts of mitigating circumstances that could have made that discombobulated. I'm just talking about what it felt like to watch him get his shot blocked at the rim, where he'd lift, and then other people would get there faster. It's odd to watch when the guy's nicknamed Flash, and you've seen his entire career, and his game ages. We were talking about this 10 years ago. Russell Westbrook's game's not going to age well.
Right.
Wade's game has aged well for him, but what you're presently watching now is like watching it's like watching Clippers Paul Pierce.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that shocking. I mean, we've been at this for 5 years now, where every playoff series he plays in, he goes up for a dunk and gets blocked by the rim. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been.
Oh no, but see, this is the thing though. This is the thing that I'm doing, and I understand what you're saying there. Yes, there've been the memes of, him stumbling on an alley-oop or him missing a layup or him blocked by the rim on a dunk. I'm talking about specifically seeing it in a Heat uniform in that arena on an emotional night. The mortality of it is what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about like that made me sad. Look, even if you think he's washed, he's out there and is a joy to this community and He's going to make this season fun. And good for him that he would get to retire on his terms. I'm just talking about the mortality of having seen all of his youth. That game, the emotional one, to see him again and again, long people, because that's a bad team to be playing against, even if you're beating them in the Bucks. Long, young people just swooping through the lane and saying, no, the way that you used to jump, that's not what works anymore.
So you're saying, because it was cool. It was cool for that night to see, because sometimes you forget, because he left here for a couple of years, forget just how much Dwyane Wade is beloved down here by people of all ages. That was cool to see. But you're saying seeing him do that, perform like that, you knew it was happening elswer, but to see it in this arena, in that uniform.
On an emotional night.
Where you think he has a little extra.
Right, when he's got, that's right. And so he puts up 3 points. It's as far away from the basket that he gets those 3 points as possible.
Yeah.
And he had some nice lobs and he'll still make plays. But just really, this is where I'm at with it. This is what, I wouldn't call it sad as much as I would call it observationally something that didn't feel exactly good, which is
wordy, but I'm with you.
Yeah, which is Dwyane Wade mortal, Dwyane Wade old. It's Dwyane Wade
blocking junk at the rim because he's the man.
Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, Stugotz, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Don Le Batard.
To announce that they have podcasts now, Spotify is saying you can listen to the Dan Le Batard show here. We're one of the very few shows that they're doing this. It's very cool. And they came up with a really cool marketing slogan for our show. Big stats, loud hats.
What is that?
I think it's something that you should sign off segments with.
Big stats, loud hats.
Yes.
And then it ends that way?
Yeah.
I don't like big stats, loud hats. What is that's not our show?
Well, the loud hats are.
Stugotz.
Big fats.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's so much better. Why are we not doing that with Spotify?
Big fats, loud hats, and then what do we do?
No, then you just go to commercial.
Yeah, we stare at each other awkwardly and end the segment.
Big stats, big fats.
This is the Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
I'm going to have to re-explain some things here because a lot of people on the text machine are calling me a jerk and worse, a hater for coming down too hard on Wade. So I want to walk some of that back because I'm not coming down hard on Wade. I'm talking about how I felt watching it.
I thought it was coming down hard on Guillermo for pooping naked.
So we'll get back to that in a second as well. But I was just watching on television. They showed the OKC shot chart in the game. And it's funny because they're just shooting so many threes. They were 16 of 37 yesterday from three. And really, I know all the advanced metrics in basketball, Mike, but I really do feel like the place, and it's fun to watch, the place that we've gotten in basketball this is the analysis, despite all the advanced metrics. Well, OKC looks really good with George and Westbrook and Carmelo, but when I got their three guys shooting threes, I feel less good about their three guys shooting threes than I feel about James Harden and Chris Paul shooting threes, but they've only got two guys shooting threes, and the big teams got Durant and Curry and Clay, and I trust them more on the threes than I trust anybody. And really, like, it's an obvious oversimplification,
right?
But OKC is coming, and it seems pretty obvious that the best three teams in the league they're those three, the three super teams, are they not? I mean, you could throw the Spurs in there if you want, but you saw what Cleveland just did too. I guess we need to reserve judgment on Cleveland for the moment.
Yeah, we need to see, because what Cleveland did yesterday makes me want to have the jury still out.
Yeah, no, and that's understandable. Or what they've done since the trades. It's really like anybody would have been better. They put together the worst. That you realize, you were saying, Stugotz, you watch at the end, Cleveland will still come out of the East, and you're going to end up being right.
I know.
But you wouldn't have been with the old team.
Probably not.
Like,
yes.
that was the time you were going to be wrong. Like,
right.
What Cleveland did at the deadline was basically just get us a bunch of new guys. LeBron will figure it out.
Correct.
Is Altman going to win Executive of the Year because he botched the summer so badly?
That's right.
He should.
He did summer so badly.
He fixed it, though.
Yeah, and then was his own janitor. Yeah. It's a real heroic effort by him after being the guy who created the mess in the first place.
Cleaned it up well, though, man.
I mean, it's 2 games, but yes, LeBron with anybody.
One game, I think.
It's 2 games and one with the new guys because those guys couldn't play against Atlanta.
That first game, LeBron was just happy to have everyone out.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying to you, a lot of people objected to this last week. Guillermo, put it on the poll. If I put LeBron on the Sacramento Kings and make no other changes, am I coming out of the East?
I think you are, yeah. I really do.
I mean, he did it with Mo Williams, man.
Who's his second best player there? Is it
on the Kings now?
Yeah.
I mean, they just
Probably
got
Name it
Fox.
King.
Probably Fox. It would have been George Hill.
Yeah, it would have been George Hill.
But they get there, right, out of the East?
We'd start talking about what a great shooter Bogdan Bogdanovic is.
Yeah, he is. Good player.
Let me backtrack for a second here, okay? Because I want to make some things clear. Dwyane Wade is one of my favorite athletes in the history of sports, not South Florida sports, in the history of sports. One of my favorite athletes to deal with, and it was an honor. Like, it was a real pleasure to watch from the very initial stages, Stugotz, when we were doing a bi-weekly show with him, and when we were doing, at the very beginning of his career, when he was just ascending and before he got to fame, to just watch everything that's happened in his career has been a great joy. And the fact that now we don't have to see all the stuff that we talk about, Michael Jordan in a Wizards uniform, when that stuff was getting sad, watching Wade bounce around, go to the dysfunctional team in Cleveland, Chicago. This is where it should be. This is where that stuff should be happening. And man, I think that's why he and his wife were so happy, because they realized it. I think they realized, I think the way that they get to the point where Wade comes out and is like, I'll be good with the Ginobili role of coming off of the bench.
Right.
Is because they realized, we were going to get the ugly, gross ending, sad in Cleveland where it's cold and your career's just over, and then no training camp invites.
Right. Grow old with people who appreciate you. That's it. People who won't make fun of you. People who have no expectations because you've already exceeded all their expectations.
Correct.
Grow old with those people.
Correct.
We don't care.
It's more,
we love you.
It's more comfortable. And so all I was saying about Friday night is, and I tell you, I continue to say this is a good move for the Miami Heat, and I will only change my mind if Dragic starts being terrible again, just because he can't play with him. But I maintain that this was a good thing that the Heat did. I'm just talking about how Friday felt to me, and I'm curious if it felt that way to anybody else, because here's one bit of fraudulence you're not aware of. Mike Ryan, who answers the phone 3 whenever Wade calls.
Oh, boy.
Mike Ryan didn't even watch the game.
Really?
I watched the end. Rushed home.
Sold those tickets?
No.
Wow.
See, I'm going up to Washington, D.C. this week to work with our television producers, and I'm missing Valentine's Day, and I never do Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day anyways, but I wanted to take my wife out to dinner that night. My wife is Greek, so I botched this up and down because the only game she wanted to go all season was to watch Greek Freak, and it just so happened to be the Wade return game, too. So I totally botched it. We had a lovely dinner, though.
Wow. Wow. That is about as poorly as all of that could have gone.
Yep.
Just about.
I mean, seriously.
Was a wonderful night, though. No manic.
But what happened to you?
You couldn't turn it, like once you realized Wade was coming back, you made these plans well in advance, right?
I didn't want to do that to my friend who made plans to take somebody else. I'm cool. Like, I'll see Wade.
Regardless, you didn't watch the game.
No, I watched the block. I watched them blow a lead and me saying, "Where's Wade?" Because I thought I was going to miss my chance to see him, and then they were blowing it, so I was grateful. And then he made the block, and I jumped out of my clothes and into the bed.
To finish off the fireworks show that was your Valentine's Day, botched totally by you 4 days earlier, 6 days early, 5 days early.
Results over process.
Somebody writes in here, Friday felt like makeup sex. So this person does not agree with me.
It wasn't good.
It didn't feel like...
Oh, come on, guys, don't do this.
Sex was bad?
Don't do this.
It wasn't great.
Hold on.
The show was trash when we were trying to celebrate his return here, and we let all of Miami down, and we're doing it again. You're repeating history. He saved the game. He made a huge block.
Well, the huge block that you speak of, Chris Cody takes issue with your huge block situation.
It's a very sad block. He barely got there with his fingertips. I'm all for Wade, but come on, I didn't watch the game either, and I heard about this block.
This amazing block?
I heard about this amazing block to save the game. They were up 4 points.
Oh, they were up 4?
And he barely got a fingertip on it.
They were bleeding, though.
Yeah, they were hemorrhaging.
Who did he block?
Eric Bledsoe.
I mean, he's smaller.
How's it possible that after Friday's show, I'm the only one that watched that game?
I had plans, man.
No, I watched that game. I went to that game, and what I'm telling you is what I felt. And you guys who didn't go to that game and didn't watch that game are telling me that you feel differently. And it's like, get out of here with that.
I saw all the videos, though. When he got checked in, it should have been a 2-pop.
That was cool.
Match.
That was
so cool.
Well, but this is the thing. It's the reason I went is because, like, that part, A+ for emotion of the night. A+. But I'm talking about the rational parts of the night. I'm talking about the basketball parts of the night. A+ for the emotional parts of the night.
I didn't see any of that. I just saw a block at the rim and him save the game.
I'm just seeing the block for the first time. That is one sad block, man.
How is it? Come on, you guys.
I mean,
seriously?
Bledsoe barely jumps. I mean,
Seriously? He's 36-year-old Dwyane Wade. Cleaning up Dragic's mess.
I watched the game with my dad, and they showed the stat line, and he's like, "Oh," I was like, "Wow, he only had 3 points." He's like, "Yeah, but he had a ton of assists." I'm like, "No, he had 2. It's right there." He's like, "No, he had more than that."
He had the 2 lobs. See, sometimes lobs to Bam and Hassan feel like they're worth more. Unfortunately, while being a very efficient shot, it's not the best way to win anymore.
I was expecting the block to be like palmed on the
That's
backboard.
right. No, like Bam's block.
Right.
Like Bam's block in the same.
Snatch out of the air.
Yeah, where he just jumps up.
That Bam.
Well, that dude, outside of LeBron, he's the most athletic thing in Heat history, right? Like, outside of LeBron.
Ricky Davis.
Stugotz, I mean.
That's a good athlete, Ricky Davis.
I know you guys,
Pogo man.
Harold Miner, Rod, yes, not Rod.
No,
Strickland.
even though he was a member of the Miami Heat too. Mark, the Pogo Man Strickland.
But I think Bam outside of LeBron might be the most athletic player they've ever had. And this is what they're so excited about with Bam, Stugotz. Being able to guard 1 through 5 at 20 years old is it's what they wanted from Winslow.
Right.
Like, and he's just so much further along than Winslow. That the idea, like, they think he could be a really special player because at 20 years old, he guards 1 through 5. And what they've seen in practice, 20 bleeping years old, is he does have range on his game. He just hasn't.
Range that Whiteside does not possess.
He's got, well, no, Whiteside has range too.
I'm saying like 3-point range. Does he have that type of range?
No, but maybe it develops. I don't know how that works. You know, we've seen all of these 7-footers end up behind the 3-point line with varying degrees of success.
I mean, Whiteside's still shooting 100% from 3.
Mm-hmm. But are you guys that excited about him? Because the athleticism is crazy, Stugotz. For 20 years old, you're not allowed at 20 years old to be more of a man physically than the people you're playing against.
And he is. Yeah. I haven't watched that much of him to say I'm so excited for Bam, but
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a creature like that in a Heat uniform. When I tell you that person is appreciably more athletic than Hassan Whiteside, Stugotz. Like, it's hard to imagine something like that. Like, Bam is the Capella guy that you want 5 years from now.
Right.
The guy who's just swooping all over the place, guarding everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the idea that guy at 20 years old at that size can guard 1 through 5 is nuts.
The Heat were in that unholy middle ground where you miss the playoffs, but you're not bad enough to really improve your team. And they found a way to get an asset out of that heartbreaking tiebreaker loss in the playoffs of a season to improve their team via the draft, which is not the Pat Riley way of doing things. Bam's made Hassan potentially expendable. He's an asset. At the very least, you have somebody that's as valuable as a first-round draft pick if you want to make a trade for, a bigger name.
But who wants Whiteside? Like, that's the thing. And I don't think anyone does. In this NBA, I don't think anyone wants Whiteside.
You say that, but I guarantee you if Hassan hit the open market right now, he'd command that very same contract. Somebody would pay him.
Texter writes in, when are we going to talk about that bleep show, PFPI Gala? Next.
Mike Golick here. ADT, the #1 security company, can now help keep you safe at home and when you're on the go. Get started with the ADT Starter Kit professionally installed for only $49. Plus, you'll get ADT Go, the new family mobile safety app and service with 24/7 emergency response for free with any ADT security system. Go to ADT.com/podcast to learn more today.
Requires 36-month monitoring contract, QSP and Easy Pay. Activation and early termination fees may apply. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com. Additional charge for ADT Go premium services after March 31st, 2018.
Dan Le Batard.
Hip-hop surpassed rock and roll as music's most consumed genre. Yes. R&B accounted for 8 of the 10 most popular artists based on total consumption. Drake and Kendrick Lamar claim the top 2 spots with Future, The Weeknd, Eminem, and Lil Uzi Vert. Uzi? The hell is that?
Stugotz.
Anyway, Uzi was among the other acts cracking the top 10. Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran were the only...
For the love of God, man. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that.
When he was popular, I knew his name.
This is as close to equality as we've ever been. As a country.
Wait a minute. We have reached the moment of harmony in America, finally. It's the whitest and the blackest we've ever been together merged. He can get both names equally wrong, whether you're Ed Sheeran or Uzi Vote.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Texter writes in, the Heat were on a 5-game losing streak, and the Bucks were 7-1 in the last 8 games, and they won enough with the negative bleep already. Miami Heat won a game in which it shot its lowest shooting percentage ever in a victory, was it, Mike? Was it the lowest shooting percentage ever in a victory?
Lowest shooting percentage in a win since 2010.
Okay.
Win's a win, though, Dan.
Okay, win's a win.
Yep.
Nobody's being negative about this, or I didn't think I was being negative about this. In fact, I want to get nostalgic with Wade. Mike, what do you think our chances are of landing Dwyane Wade, bringing the career full circle in his first year in the league or his first couple of years in the league? He was doing a show with us every couple of weeks. I'd love to bring that back if Dwyane Wade wants to bring that back to end his career here.
I would love to. I think the first step is just getting him on and seeing if we can get him on, because we weren't able to get him on his entire time away from Miami, and Stugotz hasn't helped matters by trashing him at every turn.
Yeah. Should I apologize? What do I do here? Because I'd like to do it as well.
Should you insincerely apologize?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I mean, listen, I don't know how insincere it would be. I mean, I do my best to drum up. If I had some time to think about all the bad things I said about him, maybe it would be heartfelt and emotional. Or I can agree not to say a single word during these segments as punishment for all the bad things I've said about Dwyane Wade. But Dan, you should probably apologize.
Well, I'm not sure he would even want to do it. But ask the audience if they'd want that at Le Batard Show.
There's no question the audience would want that. There is no question. You're getting Dwyane Wade, South Florida's, along with Marino, biggest sports star ever, at a time in his life and his career where he's probably more prone to just let it fly than ever. I think our audience would want that.
I just want to talk to him about memories, because really this is what it's about, right? Like, if they get a bonus from him of any kind, a performance bonus, if they get any better with Wade, that'd be great. But this is the Heat trafficking in the nostalgia business, the emotion business.
Correct.
Like, they're trying to make their team better, and they think that he might. They think he might help with that. But if he doesn't, they can't lose.
Oh, it was a no-lose. Yeah, Dan, it was a no-lose scenario for them. Either he's going to help them, or it's going to be sentimental moments, or a combination of both. I mean, you can't. But if he doesn't help, you're right. At least you get Dwyane Wade coming back, and jerseys are selling, and people are coming to the game.
Man, that place felt fun on Friday. Like, he brought that. It's really hard, Stugotz, to get a team, to get a city invested in a team that doesn't have stars.
Yes. Listen, my friend he's the biggest Heat fan that I know. Okay. He's been a season ticket holder since day one, and he's been down all year on the Heat. He was in his Wade jersey the entire day, went to work in his Wade jersey, went to the game that night. He already sold his tickets because he wasn't expecting Wade to come back, and then went out and bought new tickets, like lost money on that transaction. And he said he had a great time. It's for him the best night he's had at that arena since the Big Three were down here.
It's a cool thing that the Heat are able to put this back together, and I'm telling you, there has to be gratitude from Dwyane on this one. He has to know. When he and the Miami Heat had the stare down over the money, over the few millions of dollars, he was coming off of the playoffs. He again carried them late. He thought he was going to go to Chicago or wherever and be a player who was a significant contributor. The last year and a half have had to force him to look in a mirror, humbled on the aging process, because the Van Gundys say the hardest thing to coach in sports is the aging superstar. And now he comes back here grateful that the Miami Heat can help him get the ending right. It's such a big difference between where his career was headed toward its ending. He realized in the middle of it, you don't get the chance to fix what he got to fix.
Right.
Where you take a buyout from the Bulls. The Bulls have to be in a condition where they're even willing to do that.
Sure.
The Bulls have to be in a condition where they're willing to buy you out. You then join your friend, and a half a season in, you realize that's a cluster bleep that has no chance of getting better. And I wonder if you'd ask Wade this. How about this question, Stugotz? How about right now if you asked Wade this question? Hey, Dwyane, that team the Cavs just put together, it's actually really good. We know it's so. Let's make it a fact, even though we don't.
Right.
We know it's so. It's going to win the East. Do you think he wants back there? Like, do you think you understand? But you understand what I'm saying, though,
I think
right?
he knows they have no shot at winning a title, and no, I think he's getting it right now. Yes.
But I'm saying that is the realization that, it doesn't have to be about winning at the end. Like, I do think that he might I think he might choose Miami as well, just to get the ending right. That's how humbling the last year and a half have been.
It should be. It'd be nice if it could be about both, but it should be about appreciation at the end. He'll get that down here. He won't get it anywhere else.
That's
He'll
correct.
go 1 of 6 down here, and we'll celebrate Dwyane Wade because they won the game and he came back, and and we love his jersey and we love him. He doesn't get that treatment anywhere
Nowhere else. Nowhere else.
No. I mean, he has to regret leaving in the first place, right? A little bit.
I don't know. He felt disrespected. He felt disrespected. Chris, please tell us. Greg Cody of the Miami Herald does an annual gala. He calls a gala. And it is the fantasy teams that his family has. It's usually 5 or 6 contestants. They gather around the living room. He's the commissioner of the league. He puts on a suit. He performs the ceremony. No one's as interested in the ceremony as he is.
It was exactly what it always is. People were wondering, and it was very authentic last night. It was a mess.
All right, so you guys periscoped it, and what would you identify as the highlights? What would you say is what the audience would have enjoyed the most, this audience?
Well, he has 2 roles in this thing. He's the commissioner who kind of hosts the whole thing, and he's also a participant. So we each speak. So him introducing himself to speak is always funny.
Okay, so wait a minute. So this is all right. Do we have that sound?
Which it also includes him walking off and reappearing, so he doesn't just stay there.
Oh wow.
Okay, so this is one of the highlights from the Greg Cody Periscope last night of his annual fantasy league gala that only he cares about.
And now we're going to get to our individual remarks. We go in inverse order of standings, meaning, unfortunately, Greg Lobos will speak first. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Lobos are the all-time PFPI champion with 7 career crowns. Champions in 1969, 1970, 1972, 1975, 1978, 2009 and 2015. So 7 career wins, the most ever in league history. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Greg Lobos.
Are you really walking away from that?
It was quite the dry spell, too.
He's telling Siri to play Elton John song. Dad.
Elton John. We've had a minor glitch.
Wait, stop. Hold on.
So many questions.
So wait, he had walk-up music, and he was asking Siri to play Elton John. He introduced himself, walked off, and then came back with the walk-off music, but couldn't walk-up music and couldn't figure out how to work Siri.
This was the first year using Bluetooth. It was the big upgrade this year, and he had no idea what he was doing. He was trying to voice talk what he was searching into YouTube, and it just wasn't working, so it was dead air. It went a lot longer than that. I tightened that up. It was 2 minutes of just really.
This is the first year of Bluetooth, a change from going reel to reel.
Dad.
Elton John. We've had a minor glitch.
You call it minor.
Not everything works well. But anyway, one more time, Greg Lobos, everybody.
Hey, same guy.
I got the same food as the commissioner.
We were embarrassed this season. I mean, in the history of PFPI, we have never, ever finished in last place until this year. It was just, we couldn't get out of the gutter. I do want to congratulate Dick's Rough Riders for a well-earned season crown, and also for Mike's Chickens, who came this close to another championship.
Oh, I love him.
I mean, I can't tell you how funny it is, to hear him say Dick's Rough Riders. Just that.
Mike's Chickens.
Mike's Chickens also made me laugh. God, I can't believe what I just heard. I can't believe that it's that real. That it isn't any exaggeration by anybody. That's how awkward and awful and wonderful and wonder-awful that is.
Makes you want to go, no?
No, never. Never.
I just want to see the chaos, man.
You should see all the paperwork that is involved with this. Each week has its own packet. He has them all laid out. He has the standings for the whole, every champion for every year. So much work goes into this. It's crazy.
Explain to me, please, how many people watch this on Periscope?
Live, I think we had up to almost 2,000 people watching, and now in the views, because you can watch it now, like on delay, and I think we're over 30,000 that have watched.
Wow. Whoa.
Is it sad?
I don't know.
Well, you were in the middle of it. You haven't. Wait a minute. You were there. You were sitting at the dining room table. You, Dick's Rough Riders, Mike's Chickens. You were all there at a table.
Christie's Ferraris, Mom's Maniacs. Yeah, we were all there. It was the living room, not the dining room. But, I mean, it's one of those things that I've been doing this for years, so this is kind of like my normal. And he was wanting to do all these, like, fireworks. Like, it's on TV this year. I'm like, no, just be you. It's funny on its own. He wanted to, like, write jokes. It's like, no, just do what you
Was he nervous? Was he nervous?
He was a little flustered, I'd say, more than nervous, because it's just, it's different. He's used to...
It's the eyes of the world on him.
Right, but it really turned out to be the exact same thing it always is.
What color suit did he wear?
He had a gray shirt and a black jacket.
He looks good. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, he does look good.
Do you have any more sound from it, from the PFPI Greg Cody Gala? He is the commissioner of the league. What is this sound that you're about to play, Mike?
I have the gala being interrupted by a phone ringing.
Oh, okay.
Now on to our evening's main business. The phone's ringing. PFPI just... Damn media. They're trying to interview me in the middle of the gala. PFPI just completed its 22nd season and 14th of the modern era. By now, we all know the history of PFPI, the family legend. And if you need a refresher, all of our all-time records are here in the updated archives.
Is that a fax machine that's ringing in the background?
No, it's just a landline.
The podium is so sad, man. That's really the saddest part, is the microphone and the podium.
I would say it's the lighting.
That's it.
The lighting.
There are so many.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. What's the saddest part? And give them a lot of people. Give a lot of people choices. The lighting.
Is that home lit by candle?
I noticed as soon as, because I didn't really plan this out too well. I noticed as soon as we were going, I'm like, yep, not great lighting on this.
You know what? If you had asked me to guess, what did this look like? I would have said it was coated in a brown film. Like, I haven't even seen it. And
it looks like CBS.
This is a Les Moonves production.
It's got the Cairo Instagram filter.
So wait a
on
minute.
it.
So who was responsible for lighting? Is that a breach? Is that a leadership breach on your front?
I mentioned it to him before we got going, like an hour before, that we needed another light in there, but he was so flustered in like the 10 minutes before that there was a few things I forgot to do because of how flustered he was.
Because it was going to be televised on Paramount.
Yeah, and he just, it's 5 minutes. He's still typing up his speech. It's 5 minutes before we start. He's still typing up his speech. He hasn't gotten dressed yet, and he's just, my dad, he gets, all flustered.
How was the beef bourguignon?
Oh, delicious.
Oh, man. Would have gone just for that.
That's the dish that Dick's Rough Riders decided on.
We did that sidecast for the NC, for the National Championship football game. I think that's what throws Greg off, technology. I do. I think, Dan, I'm telling you, the times he gets thrown off are he doesn't know how he's being viewed and who's watching and where they're watching from. It's flustering.
All right.
It is.
All right.
For an old man.
All right. You're a professional journalist and broadcaster.
Yeah.
You've been working around microphones and television for the last 40 years. The clock has been the same at the end of every hour for the last 4 years, and you can't figure it out. No, it's not because he's flustered by light, Stugotz. Okay? It's because one of my best friends in the world and a man I deeply admire.
There weren't any lights to be flustered by.
Is a doddering idiot.